Good morning, friends. This video is meant for class 10 students who are the examinee of CBSE board exam and they have opted 101, English code for English communicating. The lesson, the poem, The Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner, written by S.T. Coleridge. The poem is a beautiful blend of naturalism and supernaturalism. Before we go and delve into the fact of naturalism and supernaturalism, let us talk about what are the two important characters of this poem. This poem is a narrative of the ancient mariner and one of the three wedding guests. The whole poem is an account of the narration, provided by the ancient mariner to one of the wedding guests, describing the account of the voyage they undertook and the outcome, the tragedy that they met on the way, and all the account that due to that the whole mariners, the troop, suffered due to the silly mistake of the ancient mariner. So, the subconscious mind of the ancient mariner is bound to narrate his story, sorrowful tale, to someone, and that is the reason why the ancient mariner stopped one of the three wedding guests who were going to attend a marriage feast. The ancient mariner had a very peculiar appearance. His glittering eyes and long grey beard mesmerized one of the three wedding guests. The wedding guest could not help rather than listening to the ancient mariner. Though he was in a hurry to attend the marriage feast, he told the ancient mariner that he was a very close relative of the bridegroom and his presence was quite indispensable. He was already late because from the place where he was stopped by the ancient mariner, he could see that the marriage hall was all crowded with the guests and the dinner had already been served on the table and he was getting late for the marriage feast. Despite all his plea and request, the ancient mariner went on casting the spell of his glittering eyes and long grey beard upon the wedding guest. The wedding guest got mesmerized by the charm of the glittering eyes and long grey beard of the ancient mariner. As a result, he stood still there listening to the ancient mariner. The ancient mariner described the first part of his voyage. He said that they went on sailing the ship quite happily. There was no obstacle of any kind. The wind supported them, and they completed the first part of their journey very happily. But then suddenly, the weather condition became very violent. The storm, the wind blew violently, just like wild giant, and all of a sudden, they were chased by the violent wind and cyclonic weather. The weather became quite unfavorable, and by the time the mariners went on sailing their ship, they reached in the middle of the sea at a place where they encountered, a friendly bird called albatross. Here, albatross has been used as a pun in the poem in the sense that actually the bird albatross who came to the mariners as a friendly guest and sat upon the mast of the ship, followed the mariners in the fog and in all the weathers. The mariners gave her food and made her a friendly, guest on their ship. The bird was quite loyal and it went on following the mariners. But one day, the ancient mariner, for no provocation, shot the albatross dead, and that resulted into the worsening of the weather condition and the trouble that they encountered. So the killing of the bird albatross became an albatross in the neck of the mariner. That means the killing of the bird became the cause of the suffering of the other mariners. They reached the place called Silent Sea. There was nothing, the water could not be clear and flowing. It was just a dead sea. It was surrounded by seaweeds and all kinds of stagnant water. The ship could not move. It got completely stuck into the Silent Sea, and the food got scarce on the ship. The water turned into saline water, not fit for drinking. So they got a scarce of food, and one by one, all the mariners got sick and starved without food and water. And gradually, all the other mariners got dead, and only the ancient mariner was left alive to see the skeleton of the dead bodies of the other mariners. And that really made him mad and self-conscious. And that is the reason why wherever he went on narrating his sorrowful tale. Perhaps he was guilt conscious. Perhaps he was guilt conscious. The guilt of killing the bird really made him, self-conscious and abnormal, and wherever he went on narrating his sorrowful tale. Actually, the poem highlights the two parts. The first part is the beginning of the journey, which was quite, happy and enjoyable. But the second part of the voice was quite painful, which which is being narrated by the ancient mariner as an account of the sufferings and misfortune that they have suffered due to the fact that their ship got stuck into the Silent Sea. They could not move, and because of their scarce food and water, all the other mariners got dead except the ancient mariner, who remained alive to narrate this story to someone. And that is how the entire poem has been compiled with. Here, S.T. Coleridge wants to, highlight two important facts. A blend of naturalism at one hand, where the mariner describes the beauty of the sea, the wind, and the natural sight. On the other hand, he describes the cause and effect of guilt, that is, of a psychosis in the mind of a common human being, the ancient mariner who suffers the guilt of killing the bird. Actually, the bird albatross here serves as a pun in the poem, which has two meanings. One is the bird, that is the noun. The other one is the cause of suffering for all the other mariners. So, killing of the bird albatross became an albatross in the neck of all the mariners, and they all, met with death, except the ancient mariner who was left self-conscious and mad to narrate his sorrowful tale. So, in brief, we can say that is the Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner is a beautiful blend of naturalism and supernaturalism, and that is what I wanted to emphasize upon. Thank you. Have a nice morning.